Leaving rarely begins at the door. It begins while they're still sitting across from you, nodding, smiling, pretending to listen. It begins with the pauses, the withheld curiosity, the slower replies, the decisions made without you. You felt the shift, even if you didn't confront it. Hope makes us excellent negotiators. We bargain with ourselves long before we bargain with them. You compensated quietly. You initiated most of the plans, asked most of the questions, carried most of the emotional weight. And in doing so, you taught him participation was optional. He learned that silence would be filled, that uncertainty would be soothed, that effort would be matched for him. It wasn't weakness. It was love expressed as responsibility. But responsibility has a flaw. It can become a substitute for reciprocity. And once reciprocity disappears, relationships don't break with thunder. They dissolve with permission. Permission you never meant to give, but offered every time you stepped closer when he stepped back. By the time he left, the relationship was already halfway empty. Most departures don't announce themselves. They gather slowly in the spaces where effort used to live. He didn't suddenly stop caring. He just stopped participating, and participation is the true currency of connection. To him, the relationship became frictionless. You filled silence with comfort, mésises with clarity, confusion with empathy. It's easy to stay when someone else does the emotional heavy lifting for you. It's even easier to leave when there's no internal debt to repay. People assume indifference is cold, but indifference is often just convenience, wearing a neutral expression. Why initiate conversation when you already do? Why apologize when you forgive quickly? Why repair when you prevent the breaks? You didn't lose him, you made staying effortless. And once staying becomes effortless, leaving feels cheap. There's a psychology to that. When someone never has to fight for you, they rewrite the story. You're not a partner, you're a constant. Constants don't get protected. Constants don't get appreciated. Constants just get used. And at some point, using grows boring. Not because you weren't enough, but because he never had to become more to keep you. Comfort without accountability breeds detachment. Detachment breeds departure. And departure, for him, was simply the path of least resistance. There's always a gap between the moment you decide to change and the moment your life reflects that decision. It's the most frustrating part of any transformation because nothing looks different yet. You're doing the work, making the moves, breaking the patterns, and it still feels like you're stuck in the same life with the same problems. This is where most people quit, because the world doesn't reward internal progress immediately. But here's the truth. Internal progress always shows up externally. It just has a delay. Every skill you're building, every habit you're tightening, every standard you're raising is feeding a future version of you that hasn't materialized yet. It's like planting seeds in the dark. You don't get applause for it. You don't get validation for it. You don't even get certainty. All you get is the responsibility to keep watering something no one else can see. That's why the gap feels painful. Growth is real before evidence is visible. And during this phase, the world tests your conviction more than your talent. You'll question everything. Am I too late? Am I delusional? Did I misunderstand my potential? Am I running towards something or just running away? But the fact you're questioning means something important. You're awake. Because the opposite of doubt isn't confidence, it's autopilot. And once you break autopilot, you can't go back to sleep. You can't pretend you don't know better. You can't unknow your own capability. The gap is also where you start building judgment, not about others, but about yourself. You learn what you can tolerate. You learn what you won't tolerate. You learn what it takes to win. And you learn who you are under pressure. Most people think the comeback starts when results show, but it actually starts here. In the part nobody posts. Nobody celebrates. Nobody validates. It's the silent season, and it's where most of your future is built. Because once the gap closes, everyone else calls it a breakthrough. But breakthroughs aren't sudden, they're scheduled by consistency.